Hello and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. It's me, Rich. I will be joined shortly by Kev, and we're here for a Lions Raw match reaction show to Aston Villa 3, Bournemouth nil. And a great win. Really solid. I mean, looking at Twitter, looking at all the socials, it's just a really good time to be a Villa fan at the moment. Loads of records being broken, loads of brilliant statistics about certain players' performances. I mean, it's such a difficult one to pick man of the match today. Get your comments in. We'll just leave it to you guys to lead the show today because there's so much to talk about: goals, performances, um, where we are since where we are in the table since Emery's taken over. Emi Martinez breaking clean sheet records. Just what a time. And for 20 minutes we were in dreamland. We were in 10th position for 20 minutes. But yeah, it didn't last too long. But look, Everton getting a last minute goal against Chelsea puts them level on points with us now, leaves a massive game on April the 1st. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be big. And can we push for Europe? That's the point. Can we push for Europe now? We've got all those teams to play. We've got Chelsea to play. We've got Brentford to play. We've got Brighton to play. We've got Fulham to play. Can we do it? Can we beat them? And we finally are looking up the table. We've got 11 points between us and Crystal Palace. Really is, three leagues within one division, and we are in there. I will say we are in there for that fighting for, seventh or eighth spot. We are 4 points behind Liverpool. I know one or two teams have got games to play, but yeah, I've pinned our StreamYard, our link to the show in the chat. Kev's coming shortly, but if anyone else wants to come on, have your say about the game today, performances, whether you think we can qualify for Europe, whatever you want, come on the show and have your say. The link is pinned in the description. Hit the like button, guys. Please hit the like button. Please do subscribe if you're new. We are 25 away from 1,100 subscribers, so if we could hit that tonight, that would be amazing. I've got comments absolutely flying in, so I will get them read out now. Molly boy, great to have you on board, mate. Hi guys, great result today. And Ramsey proved me wrong. He was on fire today. We will get into all that, mate. But yeah, he was fantastic. Michael, good evening. Adam Skis in the house, UTV, everyone, absolutely, mate. Up the Villa. Rich, yes, Richie, good to have you on board, mate. Duncan, great performance today, though. Shouldn't hide the joke that is VAR. Absolutely. I even forgot about that. The penalties, I mean, your thoughts on the handballs? I mean, what is handball? What isn't handball at the moment? Like, what is that all about? I mean, I can understand VAR for offside, but what is this rule with handball these days? So yeah, please let me know about that. What your thoughts are on that? Gary says, "Hi guys, what are we going to criticize tonight? Even Leon was good. Yeah, Kev's going to come on. Look, I told him to channel the positive Leon Bailey thoughts and vibes, and within 7 minutes, he's creating an assist for Douglas Luiz. So absolutely phenomenal. Yes, Michael, I'm here. Evening, everyone from Rachel. Great to have you on board. Deontay, great win. Controlled the game from start to finish. A complete performance. Absolutely. And yeah, Rich absolutely buzzing. 90 minutes of dominance, clinical control. That's the point there, Rich. That is the point. It was so controlled, and to see us just waiting for Bournemouth their players to come and pressure us, and then just knocking the ball around them. To see us picking up the ball in midfield on the half turn, players like McGinn and Luiz, and then them running with the ball and then feeding Buendia and feeding Ramsay and George. Co-host George said, it was great to see us hunting in packs and winning that ball back. If someone gave the ball away, we were hunting in packs to win it back. And that was just so great to see. So, yeah, it was so controlled. I know Bournemouth had one or two little bits of threatening moments, but nothing major. And I don't think that result was ever in doubt. After a little bit of a dodgy spell in the first half, after that, I don't think the result was ever in doubt. And I knew we would go on to score more goals. So, yeah, great result. And Mr. Kev, Mr. KT AVFC in the house. just back from Villa Park or just back from having a couple of beers. I don't know. But
No,
what a day, mate. What a win.
Mate, what a day. Yeah, I've just come back from seeing, I've had a bit of some family up. My sister's been up and been to see my mom for a bit of food for Mother's Day because I can't do tomorrow. So, yeah, it's been a long day, hence me being slightly tardy for this podcast. But I couldn't miss talking about another victory, another sort of hoodoo defeated by Unai in terms of, we don't beat Bournemouth, do we, in the Premier League? Well, we do now.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we've never won. Also, one we didn't notice. I don't know if you knew about this. We'd lost, I think, the previous 4 games that ref had refed for us as well.
Yeah. Is it Rob? Was it Rob Jones or something?
Yeah, I don't know. I like him now. Yeah, whatever his name is.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about that. Rich commented before. Someone commented before. I think it was Duncan commented before about VAR. I don't know who was in the VAR booth today with the old handballs, but
it was absolutely shocking. I mean, I like the ref because we won. I wouldn't care if we'd had 15 Stonewall penalties turned down. If we win a game, I don't care. I do care, obviously, if we lose or draw. But it's an absolute Stonewall penalty. The arms are to the side of the body. It stops the shot on target. I don't know what they were thinking.
I don't know. I don't know if it's this kind of clear and obvious error situation whereby is it enough of an error to say it's a penalty or not? But to me, the second one, I could maybe understand a little bit more because he was much closer and maybe couldn't get out of the way. But the Jacob Ramsey one, his arms are like out, and he stops it from going on target. Like it's crazy. I really don't understand that.
I don't get the whole argument about a clear and obvious error in that situation because, like, it's not like it's flipped off his knee and hit his hand. It's not that, which obviously they say is. It's a shot which he's dived to try and stop, get in the way of, and it's hit him below his, what do they call it, the t-shirt line. Is it in his arms? I mean, it's got to be a penalty.
Yeah. Anyway, we don't want to dwell. We don't want to dwell on that. It was just the comment there and about that referee. But yeah, Gaza, we are flying. We are absolutely. We'll come to that a little bit later with regards to kind of talking about us and where we can get to and how we're doing in the table. Gary does say we are still 11th. We must be cursed. We were 10th, Kev, for 20 minutes. I know you posted it on the group.
Yeah, I was so happy. You know what I loved about it? I was looking at the TV straight after the game. One of the TVs had Sky Sports on, and we were on the first page of the table for the first time in ages.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
I didn't have to wait to scroll. I didn't have to wait to see us with like Forest and Bournemouth and Leeds and Southampton. I was up there with Man United and Liverpool.
We were there, yeah. We were dreaming. Yeah, I know.
The European zone almost,
Yeah. Dunk says Brentford and Fulham are catchable. Adamski, we're knocking on the door with the top half. We're not going away. Rich, yeah, we aren't too far off 8th, 4 points. Chelsea have got a terrible run in. I mean, I have to say, I watched Chelsea today, and I think they look like a worse version of Brighton at the moment, with like players that are 20 times more expensive.
Yeah, they are. I think when you see the whole Brentford are catchable, Fulham are catchable, which I totally agree with Duncan, but I genuinely think that Chelsea are catchable. Like, why not? Like, you've got we've got 11 games left. We've got a fairly favourable run of fixtures when you look at those games.
Yeah, it's like the last 4 are pretty tough, but between kind of Chelsea and sort of, like, I think all of April, there are games that we can capitalise on. You know, the likes of Nottingham Forest at home, Leicester away. I think we've got Fulham in there, like at home. There's games there that we can really attack. So, let's go for it.
And we should be in this. I feel like the great thing about this result today is, as much as there were still, moments of frustration when, we were 1-0 and they had a couple of opportunities, and I was thinking, classic old Villa. But it's easy to say in hindsight, isn't it, that it was always going to be a win? And I was confident. I obviously predicted 3-0.
You did.
Yeah, I was going to have a little flutter on 3-0, but I was telling off my lad for being nasty to his sister, and I got distracted. And at the end of the game, he went, "Oh, Dad, we have a little bet on 3-0." I went, "No," because I was telling you off. So I got sidetracked. Anyway, but it was a confident victory in the end. Again, another one where we dispatched a team that we should have dispatched. And if you look at that run of results, I mean, in terms of we're flying. We are 6th in the last 10-game form guide. Man City have got themselves 22. Arsenal got 22. Brentford 19. Brighton 18. Man United 18, and we're on 17. So you look at that from a form perspective, and you got to consider also in that we played Man City and Arsenal, so they would obviously
Sorry, in the last 6, definitely.
And in the last 10 games, played those two. We obviously lost to Leicester with draws against Wolves and West Ham, and then victories against Leeds, Southampton, Everton, Crystal Palace, and Bournemouth.
Yeah.
So it's brilliant. It really is.
Absolutely. We'll get into the game. Please, guys, don't forget to hit that like button. Please hit the thumbs up to help us spread the word of the channel. If you are if you're new to the channel, if it's the first time you've watched us, or if you haven't yet subscribed and you're a regular watcher, please hit that subscribe button. Kev, we're 25 away from 1,100 subscribers. So yeah, we're growing again. We're growing again. So really, really good. I've got a few more comments to read, then we'll get into the game. So Alfie says, evening, pal. Evening, Alfie. Great to have you on board, mate.
Hi, everyone.
Michael, evening, everyone. Cheers, mate. Thanks very much. Dunk says, should have been 6-0. We had enough chances. We'll get into the stats as well. Gaza said, how good was it to see Matty Cash firing again, by the way? Yeah, really good. Really good to see Cash. And Alfie says, yeah, the first was a pen. The second was questionable. I would say that. I've got the replay on now. Going to scrutinise everything. Good man. Rich says, Rob, today, at least the first one should have been given 100%. Yeah. And Rachel says, loving the social media from the players as well. So positive and unified. Plus Emery's comments about the fans being the true owners. He just gets it. Yeah, I mean, it's always great when you're winning games. The players will be all over social media. The manager can do no wrong. But look, let's keep it going. The longer it keeps going, the better, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah. Emery ball in full effect. Gary said the only thing good about getting Europe is attracting better players, because otherwise I don't think our squad is ready. Look at West Ham. Yeah, but I think you just got to take the opportunity when it comes. Please back the manager as he knows what he's doing. Let's stop the huff the ball for a 50-50 mentality. Yeah, I mean, did you feel like the fans were a bit more patient, and they're getting more patient as the games are going on?
100%. Yeah, I noticed actually a few more ripples of applause when we broke a press, played it out. Basically, recycled it rather than trying to force it forward. And actually, a few times I thought, that might be a little bit frustrating for people, but there was a few little rounds of applause. So you can definitely see. You hear the odd comment, people saying, this is what the manager wants them to do. Plenty of chants of Unai Emery's Clint Muali. I feel like it's something our fans are getting used to now. And there was one nervy moment with a pass that Martinez played centrally, I think, into McGinn.
McGinn gave it away. Yeah, McGinn. Well, he didn't. Yeah, he gave it away. Like, he didn't look at the pass. He went to just pay it straight back to Konsa, and then I think Konsa dummied it in the end. But yeah, that was a bit of a hairy moment. And I think Buendia maybe in the second half gave a bad ball away.
Yeah, but other than that,
it's going to happen, isn't it?
It is. It absolutely is. But I did also feel we were a bit more incisive with actually playing the balls into people, and actually, little sort of passes around the corner, and it was great. It was really, really good to see. So yeah, I feel that the patience is coming, and the fans are going to need that. I mean, it's going to test it when you get big games, and I don't know, fast forward 5 games, and we're in a shape for Europe, and then we lose to someone we should be beating because of a couple of mistakes. So, but I think the signs are really positive, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a few more comments here. I think Duncan says it was the first. We hadn't won that particular league fixture since the 70s at home. So that's Michael says it was 1972, and it was at that game. He was 6 years old with his dad in Division 3, and there was 50,000 there. That's amazing.
I think in Villa's defence, it's because we've been mostly top flight.
Yeah.
Last 50 years, but still, we'd lost the last 4 or 5, hadn't we, against them? So
yeah. Deontay, we still have to play all the teams above us except for Man City and Arsenal. Anything is possible. We need not fear any team. Absolutely. Rod is in the house. Delighted. So many great performances today, and it all comes from good coaching. Peter, who was at as I've said on Twitter, was at the game with his wife, come over from Australia for their first ever game. Definitely brought the best out of the boys. I'm glad you had a great day. So thank you as well for jumping on the show and joining us and watching us. So yeah, I'm glad you've had an amazing time, and what a win to see 3-0 in your first ever match. So brilliant stuff. Yeah, just smash Chelsea next and put them in the bottom half for good this season, says Adamski. Yeah, one game at a time, says Rachel. So yeah, we'll come to some more comments in a second, but yeah, just wanted to get onto the game. So obviously, yeah, I mean, we've been known for our starts. Obviously, no changes to the starting lineup. Probably Bailey was the one that was one of the debatable ones, but Emery decided to stick with him, and within 7 minutes, he's beating the fullback on the outside and setting up Luiz for a tap in. And look, great start for Villa. Something that we've been known to do under Emery, and it continued.
It really did. And, Bailey, if he's ever been good at any point for us, it's been generally early-ish in games. And he did it again. He got to give credit where credit's due, actually. It was good work. He kind of turned on it quickly, went towards the byline and cut it back nicely. And nice little tidy finish from Luiz. Credit where credit's due to Bailey, because I'm going to say this now. And, I think there was a few moments today of wastefulness, but I actually thought he was all right today, given his dues. I thought he was all right. I don't think he gave the ball away. A couple of aimless crosses and stuff, and the one where he gave the ball away really badly. But other than that, I thought actually he wasn't too bad. So, I know it might be a bit of a shock, but yeah, credit where credit's due.
No, I totally agree. I think he was probably a 6 or 7 out of 10. Like, he was probably, out of all of the players in the team, like, a great performance. He was probably the one that was least involved, but what he did do was good. He did his job in terms of setting up a goal, which is what you ask for from a wide player. And I think maybe he could have been a little bit more threatening in the box. Like, maybe he could have had a couple more shots, but
yeah, there's a couple of moments.
yeah, and he had one I think in the second half. He had a shot, but he's being asked to do a specific job with Emery in that team, and all the players are being asked to do a specific job. Like, we've talked about Watkins, who's now not running all over the pitch and he's staying in a certain, within the width of the box. Sometimes he's going out to the left, but not as much. And Bailey's being asked to hug that right touchline. He doesn't come inside very often, like inside without the ball very often. So sometimes that ball's not going to get to him, and when it does get to him, and like particularly in that first 10 minutes or first half hour of the game, he was, he was pretty threatening. He was pretty good. So yeah, like you say, mate, credit where credit's due. Gets us off to a good start. There's nothing more you can ask than putting it on a plate for Douglas Luiz, and he's not going to score an easier goal. And then moving forward with Luiz, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a player. I don't think I've ever seen Luiz be as assured and composed and dominating that midfield as much as I have today.
Yeah, I was so impressed with Luiz today. I totally agree with you. I think he was even just running with the ball a bit more, and going past people, and like even just like just fainting past people really confidently with it. Retained it really well. Great passing. I was really impressed with him.
Yeah, he was just excellent, just so assured. And I think I can't remember who it was said that since Kamara's come back in, he's made a real big difference. And yeah, it's just great to see. Yeah, I'll just go through some comments. Duncan said, no more aimless long ball tripe under Emery. First time we've won since with the owners there as well, possibly. I'm not 100% sure. Really random reviews in the house. Great to have you on board, mate. Evening to you. We've got talk about Bailey here. Let's have a look. Gary says Bailey not going to Basingstoke now. Bognor Regis are circling. Random review says I was cursing Bailey, but he got the assist and was slightly better today. Better at home, I think we all agree. Yeah, Michael said I would agree with what many fans say about Bailey, but if the manager picks him on behind him until he makes a mistake, that's right, absolutely. And yeah, spot on, Rich. It's all the tactics. Emery plans it out. Absolutely. And yeah, we've got a Rolls Royce and a Bentley in midfield. And yeah, Gary says Emery did say it was the best game for Luiz. So yeah, obviously then it carried, the first half carries on. A couple of little hairy moments, but nothing major. I think obviously we talked about the handball. I think Watkins had a great chance, and we debated, with Buendia. I think there was like some sort of stat whereby he hasn't had an assist this season and he hasn't had created too many like goal scoring opportunities. But in 2 home games in a row, he's literally put it on a plate for Ollie Watkins, and you're just wanting him to finish it, aren't you?
Yeah, this is just the whole quandary with Watkins, where we've had our moments with Watkins over the years, where like we love him when he goes on a run of scoring. What is it, 6 and 8 now? And when he scores 5 games in a row, but Watkins is Achilles' heel is that he'll miss chances that he should score, and I remember Andy Cole used to do the same, but he used to also probably score another 10, 15 goals a season than Watkins did. So you can get away with, rather than scoring 40, Andy, you scored 25.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
Yeah,
but that is the difference. And when you look at those 2 situations, it's easy in hindsight, sat, as an armchair supporter, or even if you what I mean is whether you sat at the ground or sat watching it at home, to say he should have done X, Y, Z with that chance. I think we both spoke about that chance the week before against Palace, where he probably could have gone near post. He had more time. He should really be getting it on target. Today, even my lad was saying, "Why didn't you just take it past the keeper? Like
yeah,
feint to shoot, go outside him." Or I thought he should have hit it low in the corner. I mean, look,
yeah,
if he lifts it, which if it works, it's a great finish. But I felt it was almost a bit obvious, and I thought he could have been a bit more clinical with it, basically. And it didn't hurt us, so it's okay. And I thought Watkins, by the way, the one thing I will say about Watkins is maybe it's because he's not running into so many wild goose chases now. I think his link-up play is getting better and better. I think he's
Oh mate, it was so good in that. Some of the little bits in that first half. Him, Moreno, and the was it him, Moreno, and maybe Buendia? I can't, or Ramsey. Sorry,
yeah,
just those little one-touch things, and his hold-up play is like. I think you're right, mate. I think sometimes he was that knackered from like chasing down the back four that whenever an opportunity came for him to get the ball, he was so tired that he couldn't concentrate on controlling it. But the last sort of 5 or 6 games, his hold-up play has been so much better. And maybe it's because, again, he's got players around him, so he hasn't got to control it and then pass it. He can just pass it first time and then spin. But there's
yeah.
so many on that kind of left-hand channel where he was popping it off and then spinning, and they couldn't handle him. They were trying to pull him back every time.
Yeah, I just think he's becoming now a nuisance. I mean, I always remember Dean Smith talking about he's the best pressing centre forward in the league. I actually now think he's up there with some of the best centre forwards in the league. And you know what? Ivan Toney isn't prolific, and Rashford isn't prolific. And they play in teams that arguably, create better chances. Well, because Brentford are an attractive team, aren't they, in terms of what they do? And Man
Yeah,
United,
and he's their linchpin. Like they'll get the ball in the
yeah,
box quite early and stuff. We're a little bit different to that. I mean,
mm,
Watkins had 3 decent chances today, like, and that's probably the most that he's had in a quite a while. Like usually he's getting 2 chances a game, if that. So yeah, I think he had like 3 good shots today, but he definitely would say that he should have scored at least one of them. But look, it is what it is, and he's looking lean, he's looking mean, and he's definitely bringing players into the game, which is what you want. And we were sort of talking on the match preview on Thursday about needing more players to contribute in terms of goals, and today we've
well,
had 3 different goal scorers, all midfielders. So look,
yeah.
what
Do you know
more
what?
can you ask for?
I was thinking exactly that same point, mate. Today, you've got your midfielders doing what they should be doing, which is contributing with goals. Luiz in the box, literally almost on the goal line, pretty much. That's where you want him. He needs to be supporting more if he's going to be playing in that midfield, and he's got to be getting it in the box more. Buendia doing what he loves to do, scoring a header. And to be fair, it came to him quite quick, so I think he did well. And I'm so pleased for Ramsay. I'm so pleased for him because he looked like he was back to the Ramsey that we saw that in that breakthrough season, bursting
Yeah.
into spaces, driving. I keep using him as an example with my lad. Like look, when you see a bit of space, get into the space, take the opportunity, because if you get there just ahead just before the defender does, then it's probably going to be a foul if they stop you. And
Well, look,
obviously,
Jefferson, I think it was Lerma that in the second half got a booking and he was really annoyed with himself. But it was because Ramsey was so good. Like he picked the ball up, half turn, turned the defender in our own half, and then just went. And like you saw him bursting through the mid between 2 defenders, and then like he has to be brought down. And yeah, I think the goal was just like a real just reward for the kind of threat that he posed in terms of the game. So Yeah, absolutely. It was a great performance from him.
Yeah, we've seen him do that a few times. There was obviously the goal against Norwich, which we all know. I remember doing it against Spurs in a home game where he just like jinked past like 3 or 4 players into the box and nearly scored. And he's gone on driving runs before. But I just hope he gets his confidence back, because when he's in a bit of trouble, he can put the afterburners on, get away, he can retain the ball pretty well. I think if he put on and maybe gets a bit more physically strong, because he's still only a young lad, it's disappointing. We have to be calm with someone like Ramsay, because
Oh yeah, he's going to have ups and
Sam
downs,
talks
isn't
about
he?
this,
Like you say,
on
yeah,
the pod. On
yeah,
the pod, obviously, Sam, it's obviously in our group, says, he'll come good, and he's absolutely right with that, Sam. Is
yeah,
because
100%.
you're going to get players when they're fairly young and they're new to Premier League. Yeah, you can do the argument they've got to be ready for the Premier League at 2021. They have, but I'd argue, show me any 2021-year-old who's consistently always good. Look at the Chelsea team. They've got plenty of players older than that age that are fairly inconsistent this season. And that's why they're neck and neck on points with us. This is a young lad who's in his second season in the Premier League, pretty much.
Yeah, 100%. Guys, we've got loads of numbers watching. So many comments coming in. I'm struggling to keep in touch with them, like keep up with them. Sorry, but I will read some out now. But yeah, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. If you want to donate to the channel as well, or want to provide a super chat, get your comment up to the top, because we've got so many coming in. Hit that $ and get your super chats in as well, and help us continue to grow the channel. Gary says everybody played well today. That's down to the manager and the confidence he brings. Rachel said, I suppose the upside, we don't have to rush Kamara back in, so we have more options. For me, it would start Kamara as soon as he's match fit. I was just pointing at that, and I think someone else said, yeah, really random review said, who would have thought we wouldn't even miss Kamara? What's great to see in this midfield at this moment in time, and like I say, we're playing Bournemouth, but it's also been in the previous games as well, is that we've got we've almost got 4 different types of midfielder. We've got a Buendia who's kind of creative and nice little touches. We've got a Ramsay who can drive with the ball and run with the ball quickly and break from box to box quickly. You've got McGinn who's kind of that battler and can put his foot in and and drive the team forward with either sometimes longer passes, sometimes carrying the ball. And then you've got Luiz who just controls the tempo. And so you've almost got like 4 different types of midfielder there that in different periods of the game or at different areas of the pitch will come into their own.
Yeah, I agree. The thing is with all of them is that, the one thing that all of them don't have is enough goals. We know that, and assists. But in terms of their effectiveness and efficiency, they are getting more and more efficient and more effective each game. So therefore, that is helping the team. Today was a great example, as we discussed about. We got some goals from midfield because we've obviously relied on Watkins a lot. But the great thing about the whole midfield is they're all combining to help control the midfield better. And we obviously touched on earlier about the fact that some of the link-up play is good. Well, they're integral to that, aren't they? And I actually think also that's when we need a bit of patience with the Buendia, and I probably will change my mind on this over the weeks, months, years. So please don't hate me if I do be a bit inconsistent with this point. But I was really frustrated with Buendia a few points today, and then at the times I was thinking, but he's trying it, isn't he? He's trying it, and if he does,
mate, he was exactly the same as me. And you can swap Buendia for Bailey. Like those words, I know Buendia gets involved in the game more, but they both give the ball away at times. But you have to understand that they're trying something. Like they're either trying to beat the fullback or they're trying a little touch that maybe someone else wouldn't do. And there was times where, I don't know, until he warmed up into the game, he was getting the ball caught under his feet, or he was getting pushed off the ball by Sinister or something, is it? And yeah, I agree, mate. It was one of those games, but you flip that over, and you get Bailey creating a goal for Luiz, and you get Buendia playing a ball through to Watkins, and then obviously scoring at the end of the game. You can't have it. Then if they were perfect in every single way, they wouldn't be playing for Aston Villa.
Yeah, absolutely right. I'd say the big difference with the comparison of Bailey and Buendia is I at least generally know what Buendia is trying to do. And there's times with Bailey when I think he doesn't really know what he's trying to do. But their moments, obviously, for him will come off. I did feel like actually with Bailey that it was a shame. I'd like to see him end the game strongly. You always know that sub's going to be 60-ish minutes. It's going to happen, and that's because actually he got the assist early on, but yeah, there was a few moments after that where the crowd.
It happens with a lot of wingers, like they run out of steam, or
it's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah,
because actually,
it is. But you've got
he had such a good moment, didn't he? He had such a good moment.
And the fullbacks get used to what they're going to do, so you've got to change it up a little bit. It would have been nice if he'd have swapped sides, because maybe like Cash was getting forward a bit more today, which was really good to see. There was a bit more, there was obviously a threat down that right hand side from Cash, so it would have been nice maybe to see him like switch over to the other side. But look, it is what it is. But yeah, Buendia was excellent at times, particularly in that second half. I thought he was much better. And Gary says, yeah, he's a regular for him. Duncan says he's one of our key players. Rich says was happy to see him get his goal. And yeah, we're getting better and better with the passing and receiving the ball, and obviously wins help that, of course. So yeah, it was just great. Another player that we're mentioning here that Rich was just coming on to, Tyrone Mings, absolutely bossed it again. And again, not in the England team, gutted for him, but more time with Emery is a good thing. And I mean, yeah, he's just a colossus at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. He really is. He's not putting a foot wrong really at the moment. Even like looking confidently offensively as well. I mean, he drove out of defence at one point. I'm thinking, brilliant. Where are we going with this? He obviously nearly scored, not just the header, which he probably maybe should have done better with. Obviously, Buendia scored, but when he was in the box, like nearly, he smashed it to the keeper, didn't he? I think it was good work by Traore and Watkins. Was it? I can't remember who it was. Traore and Konza, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you've got Konza squaring it to Mings in the box. I mean, fine, we were 2 up, and it was like not that long left, but yeah, it's great to see. I just think he looks really confident and assured on the ball, and the fact he's not captain. Whether it would have changed if Emery had come in the summer and kept Mings as captain, I don't know whether that would have made a difference. I think we can guess, can't we, whether him having the captaincy off him has freed him up to have less pressure on him.
I know it's one that we won't know, because we were saying that it was weighing heavily on McGinn, but he seems to have he seems to have kind of sorted that out right now. So it'll be one that we'll never really be able to answer. All we can say is at the moment, like you've said, mate, he's not putting a foot wrong, and he's looking brilliant at the minute.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
It would have been great to see him get a goal, though, wouldn't he?
Oh, mate, it would have been lovely, wouldn't it? It would have been lovely. I mean, to be fair to him, he should have buried that one, shouldn't he?
Yeah. He should have buried it, and then obviously he gets a glancing header on, and then obviously Buendia puts it in. So at least he got himself an assist. So yeah, it would have been good. It would have been the perfect day, because again, we were talking on Thursday about us not scoring. We obviously scored from a set piece, but we obviously it would have been great if one of the defenders had scored.
Yeah.
So awesome. I want to. Oh, what we got here? Oh, nice. Yeah, I will, mate. I'll share that in a second. Yeah. Rich says Mings and Watkins and Luiz are our most improved under Emery, he thinks. I don't think you could argue with that, but there's so many players that are playing well. Like, look at Matty Cash since he's come back.
Yeah. I think Cash has been brilliant, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's been absolutely brilliant. I think there's so many of them. Did you see the post that was going around talking about the lineup of when Bournemouth obviously beat us 2-0?
Yeah.
How the hell can we imagine a situation now where like you wouldn't have Watkins, you wouldn't have Mings, you wouldn't have all these players in that team? And it's mad, isn't it?
No. But to be fair, everyone was like filled with so much excitement with that game. Like, I think we were a little bit puzzled as I was there. We were a little bit puzzled as to why Mings wasn't playing, if I remember right. But obviously Kamara was in the side. We were excited. Carlos was in the side. We were excited about that. So yeah, I don't know if it was like all the criticism at the time. Like, in hindsight, it's great, but we were pretty excited with that starting lineup, if I remember right, when it was announced. But yeah,
We were.
now they're playing so well, it's great to see. Like, we debated on this podcast about how many of these players are actually good enough. How many of them can actually, are going to carry us forward. And I think we said Emi Martinez and Boubacar Kamara would be the only players that we'd keep for next season, and now it's like, they could get us into Europe.
So does that say more about Steven Gerrard? Does that say more about the players? I don't know, but
who knows? Yeah. So yeah, great. Obviously, great result. Any other players that you wanted to talk about? Any other moments in the game? Martinez made a great save.
Great save.
Yeah, off a free kick, and obviously, so I don't know if there's a bit of debate there, but has he broken the record inside 100 games for clean sheets or something? Is that what was on the social media today?
I don't know. I'm not sure actually. I mean that it sounds feasible, really. I just it's great. We've had so many more, and if you look at obviously our recent form as well, you got to call this. We obviously had a clean sheet today. I mean, really, if it wasn't for a soft penalty against West Ham, that would have been a clean sheet. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Clean sheet a game before against Palace. Clean sheet game before against Everton. You've really got to say in the last 4 games, I mean, Martinez really hasn't put a foot wrong. You can't really have a go at him for not saving Ben Rama's absolutely smashed penalty. And that's the only goal he's conceded in 4 games.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Michael's saying hit the like button now. Please do, guys. What we got here? Excellent, Rich. Thank you so much, mate, for that super chat. That is amazing. Rich. Thanks so much. Much appreciated. Talk about Gerrard here. Go and manage Birmingham City. Yes. Neil's in the house. Thank you so much, mate. Up the boys. Cheers, mate. Thank you for tuning in. Much appreciated. What a great win. Just having a look at the stats on today, so we'll have a quick look at those, and so just bear with me 2 seconds.
While you're getting that up, I was just going to say, Peter, who's there with his wife today. Peter, if you're still listening, where were you sat, mate? Because I was in one of the lounges today, and I'm sure there was someone who was there with his wife for the first time who my kids jumped in front of to get a photo with Gary Shaw, and it just made me think, was it potentially you? Just kind of popped up to me, yeah. So if it was, Pete, let me know. Let me know if you're one of the lounges.
Yeah, that would be great. It'd be funny if it was.
No, I didn't until afterwards.
But yeah, obviously looking at stats here, dominating in pretty much every department here. 56% possession, 44% for Bournemouth, 9 shots on target for us. Obviously 3 goals scored off from those 9 shots on target, only 3 for Bournemouth, 20 shots in total. I think that could be the most that we've had under Emery, I would say.
I'm not sure. The last 10 minutes must have been 7 or 8 alone, mustn't it?
Yeah. Because I know Watkins brought a great save out of Neto. Obviously, Mings brought a great save out of him as well. So yeah, it just seemed like we were going for the jugular right at the end, and it was great to see. And a few people have talked about the atmosphere, Kev. And I know it was a little bit quiet in parts, but for me, watching it seemed pretty good. Like, so especially when we went 2-0, you could see that tension just drop, and the players relaxed, and the fans seemed to really respond to it.
Yeah, that is the case. Although if you think about it, like, we scored after 7 minutes, and then we scored second after 80 minutes. So there was a 73-minute period where it was a bit cagey.
Fair enough.
It wasn't too bad. It's definitely way better. And I think obviously helps, with 10 points out of 12, and really cementing there's 2 leagues now, isn't there? Premier League 1, Premier League 2.
Pretty much.
Cementing our position at the base of Premier League 1. But I think the fans are a bit more forgiving, like we talked about earlier, a bit more patient in terms of the build-up play. There's a lot more chance, Unai Emery's claimed army, and I think players, when they were doing... The thing is when you see Ramsay going on a roaring run, and then we're singing, he's one of our own chants, and McGinn does something great, we're singing the McGinn song. It's what you want. Watkins creates a chance, whatever he's singing. Bournemouth were pretty quiet. There was the football and a library chant from them, which I thought was the biggest irony I've ever heard anywhere. Because they couldn't even they didn't even sell out the bottom tier, let alone the top tier. So there was Villa fans in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the stats wise as well, mate. I mean, when we ever had 9 corners, I can't remember the last time we had 9 corners.
9 corners. Neil from Liverpool McGrath says it's mad how much possession we're taking out of games recently. This Unai ball is new to us, and yeah, I mean it's taken a little while because we obviously when he first came in, we were playing a lot kind of containment and then looking to burst forward. But now we're really controlling games, and these last sort of 3 games in particular, even sort of West Ham away, the number of passes that we're making, like you said before, the first time passes between midfielders is just, I don't know, it's just like Neil says, it's just new to us, and it's just great to see.
Yeah, I mean, possession is great, isn't it? So you got to do something with it. Obviously,
Yeah,
I
of
gave
course.
that stat about Blues, didn't I? Whether I think they've had possession, more possession in 8 games this season, and they've lost every single one of the games they've had more possession in. I'd be interested to see if they did it today. But yeah, like it's all about what you do with the ball. It's all well and good at keeping the ball nicely, and that was one of the things where I think when people were getting used to Emery, the players were getting used to Emery, we were a bit less penetrative, weren't we? We didn't quite cut through teams, not that incisive. Therefore, we had lesser chances. As they're getting more confident with it, as they are, passes around the corner, playing passes through the midfield, and then obviously runners off the back of it, you can see that we're therefore opening things up a bit more, which I think is brilliant. So,
Yeah.
I think absolutely, like, it's starting to click now, this Emery ball, and we're starting to see the fruits of the labour. And I don't think really, based on some of the results we've had under Emery, we've had great wins against Man United, against Spurs. I think we did really well second half against Man City. Arsenal, we weren't quite toe to toe. That I think that was probably a little bit of a fallacy, but we were right up until the end of the game. Bailey could have won it with a few minutes to go potentially.
Yeah.
The point is, all these teams we've beaten, Brighton, obviously they've been riding high. There's just so many positive results, and I just think it's just a fantastic time for us.
100%. Michael said we need to adopt some tunes from the Ghana Lions. Yeah, I mean, I love their Twitter feed. The Unai hive mind coming through loud and clear, says Lee. AJ, yes, Rach, I hope you're good. Yeah, we're all good, mate. We're all good. Really, everyone's just loving. Everyone's in the love at the moment.
What
So
a
yeah,
day,
start of a
isn't it?
great weekend. Gary Howler, can't we give Prince William a job at Villa? He's always there, mate. He's loving it. He's absolutely loving it. Love the fact the future King of England will be sat at Villa Park as a fan while he is king. Yeah, absolutely. For the love of Eon Mutlove. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Just wanted to round off this particular game. AJ says another bogey team ticked off the list. And John said, if you had told me in October that we'd be 4 points off 6th, I would have sent you back to Narnia. Let's beat Chelsea next. 11th is the hoodoo Emery needs to kill. Actually, before I do that, let's just have a quick look at the league table because we are obviously we're in 11th. We know that, but Kev, it's looking a lot healthier now. Like we can see light at the end of the tunnel here. 38 points. Obviously, we've talked about us being miles ahead of these teams below us. Mind the gap Wolves. But yeah, I mean, obviously same points as Chelsea, 1 point off Fulham. 4 points off Brentford, Brighton, and Liverpool, and then 9 points off Newcastle. Who obviously got a great win at Forest, but it's not bad, is it?
It really isn't bad. We talk about if you'd have told us we'd be this many points off 6th, one of the comments we just had then. If you'd have said after 27 games of this season, particularly how we started the season, after what was it like, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 games in a
We were
Gerrard.
17th, weren't we, when Emery took charge?
Yeah. After what was that, 8, 9 games? Was it? I don't know.
Yeah,
9, games.
maybe more. Yeah.
If you'd have said then that we'd be after 27 games level on points with Chelsea and only 4 points behind Liverpool, you would have said we were absolutely mental, wouldn't you?
Exactly. And then I just want to show you this as well, Kev. I haven't saved it.
Is it a picture of it?
No. I want to round off that.
Good,
But yeah, I just wanted to show you this. It's the table since Emery has been in charge. So yeah, This is the league table since Emery's been in charge. So match day 15 through to 38, and look where we are, third in the table. Obviously, there's games that other teams haven't played. There's a few teams with games in hand, but 26 points from 14 games, won 8, drawn 2, lost 4, scored 24, conceded 19, and third in the league since Emery took charge. I mean,
how many games is that?
It is 14 games.
So therefore, we played now 27. So Gerrard had 13 games. So we're effectively he's had the same amount of games Gerrard had. I mean, that form's unbelievable. Then with 2 points off 2 points a game, and 2 points a game is what they say Champions League football, don't they? To get 2 points a game.
Yeah.
I mean that's not across. Look at when you talk a form guide, right? You always look at the last 5 games, which is generally enough of a data set to be able to make some predictions of how teams playing. We've basically had almost 3 lots of form guides, haven't we? 14 games. And we're third in the league. I mean, this is more than just, I think, a little bit of new manager bounce.
It's not a new manager bounce anymore. It's, and you can see it. You can see it in the way that we're playing. You can see the ideas that Emery's putting across. You can see the way that the players are passing the ball to each other. It's not like, it's not like right now the manager's come in and you've got to try and impress him. It's like he had a full 5 weeks, didn't he? Where 5-6 weeks where we didn't have where we didn't have any matches because of the World Cup. So yeah, it's just fantastic, and obviously I wanted it to work with Gerrard. I'm sure we all did, but to get this manager in now and the coaching and the coaching staff, like the backroom staff, they must be doing something right to get this reaction out of the players is just fantastic.
Yeah. It is. It's brilliant. And also, this game against Chelsea coming up now, I'll clearly, guys, we'll do a proper Chelsea preview. But when you think about that game now and what rides on it, I mean, this is, with how tight the league's been, how good our form's been. I mean, that would give us a 3-point clearance on Chelsea. Admittedly, it's one game, but it would feel quite significant, particularly when on that day Brentford and Brighton are playing each other as well.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, so if one of them drops points, then all of a sudden you can really start to see it happening, can't you? I think Fulham have got a trip away at Bournemouth. Obviously someone else we want to try and catch. So yeah, I mean it's a really, really interesting time. But I think if you look at games of the season, importance of games, other than I think probably the last 3 or 4 games of Gerrard's tenure, which felt like it's crunch time now for Gerrard. You've got to beat Forest, you've got to beat Leeds, you've got to beat Fulham. I think this game against Chelsea is arguably our biggest game of the season. If we've got ambition to try and kick on and finish higher up the league.
We just got to keep winning. Michael said that's the word, confidence. Absolutely. Paul is in massively confident mood. Hi guys, Villa are not going to lose a game now under Emery. We will get Europe. And then someone else said we're going for Europe. Liam said Unai did address recently. He hoped the fans could be patient while he works on getting the back player sorted, and then he'd work on the final third. A man of his word. Yeah, we just level on goal difference with Chelsea. Gaza said it'll still be pleasing to hit that 40-point mark, mind you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, those 8 conceded in the 2 won't have helped our cause. Absolutely, yeah. The goal difference we want to improve a little bit. Do you want to talk about the women's team as well? Because
Rich,
you are going to the game.
I've booked tickets. Yeah, I'm going. I'm going to the what a lovely name stadium, the Poundland Bescott Stadium. Love it. Where Villa ladies play their games generally, and I'll be there tomorrow with my kids to watch Villa's women. Hopefully, get themselves into the semi-final of the FA Cup. The thing is, I've really been desperate to get to a women's game. I've been to an England women's game this season, but not been to an England Villa women's game. But clearly the men's team don't play cup games, do they? They don't like playing in the cup, the men's team.
Nah, they're not that fussed about it. So
it's like a distraction, is it, to the European charge? So I thought, well, if you're going to want a chance to see a Villa shirted team playing cup football, then the women are where it's at. So they obviously did well in the Conti Cup, didn't they? The League Cup. So it's a huge game, and it's another great thing for the club where you've obviously got all the talk of the positivity coming through from the youth setup and the likes of obviously Feeney looking great, and God, that young Wilson, the striker, Rory Wilson, is looking brilliant, isn't he? You've got the likes of Bogard on loan with Bristol Rovers. You've got Sil Swinkles training with the first team squad. You've got all these positive youngsters. even if a Louis Barry doesn't work out and he's having a bit of a career
He's
like what's
playing
going
well at
on.
the moment with Salford. Apparently, I've seen some tweets saying like, "Let's get a Louis Barry appreciation tweet
Well,
from the club."
we've talked about you got to be patient with young players. He's only very young. I'm not even mentioning your Archers and
Mate,
your
2 goals today.
2 more goals today, 6 in 8 games. How bright is the future of that youth team? And then you've got obviously all the talk about the ground, the development, and then the women,
I
5th in the
know.
league, absolutely fantastic season, some real star players, a great manager, Carla Ward, and a chance to playing one of the big teams tomorrow. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful of a big result.
Yeah, brilliant. 6 o'clock kickoff, I believe, is it?
A
Evening
bit later than I
kickoff.
would have liked, like for the school the next day. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it'd be
And
good
yeah,
for
Gary says Carla Ward, surely she should be up for manager of the season as we were miles off it last season. I mean, absolutely. It's just a shame maybe we can't get a couple more wins together just to maybe jump into that top 4 positions, or I think top 3 get into Europe. But yeah, it'd be great to kind of push on. But yeah, if they could get into that FA Cup semi-final and beyond, that'd be amazing.
fantastic.
Yeah, Rachel, be great to get to a women's match soon. Yeah, 100%, 100%. I think they should have a good crowd there tomorrow. So, so
There's
brilliant. Yeah, Michael's
tickets still
favourite player,
available.
Kenzie Darley.
Yeah, so get yourself down there if you can.
Yeah, awesome. Archer getting 2 goals today, mate, and I believe both Middlesbrough fans and Preston fans were singing his name after the game.
Well, really,
Yeah.
that's fantastic, isn't it?
So yeah, there's videos going around of that. But yeah, 2 goals for him. Philogene scored against for Cardiff against Rotherham, but their game got abandoned. And then I think there was another Villa youngster that scored, and I'm trying to remember who it was. But yeah, I mean, like you say, mate, they're all performing really well at the moment, and it's good to see. Like that, you always want to, you go through those tough times in the middle of the season, but if you can end the season well, you make Keenan Davis scored, and he scored 2 in 2 for Watford.
Yeah,
So yeah, don't forget about him. Even if he doesn't come through to the first team, we'll definitely get some money for him. So
yeah,
yeah. Anything else that you wanted to cover on the Villa match? Any comments? We've got a few more
yeah.
minutes. Any comments that anyone wants to? Any questions anyone's got? I think I had a question from Rich saying, "Do you think Potter will get sacked?"
I don't know. Chelsea is you can't look at it through the lens of a Roman Abramovich era. You got to look at it through the lens of a Todd Bealey, who has said numerous times he backs Potter, and they have turned the corner a little bit, haven't they? I mean, I know they got obviously the result today, which is
Yeah, they
not.
didn't get beat though, did they? So
No,
it's
they
not
didn't.
like
Yeah, and
not Everton are fighting for their lives, aren't they? And
yeah,
yeah, Everton looked all right to be fair today.
I know, mad at it. I mean, I didn't see any of the game, but I couldn't believe the result did us a bit of a favour, didn't they?
Yeah,
They're in the
Ellis
Champions
Sims
League as
comes
well. I
on.
mean, I know they've got a tough draw, but yeah, I don't know. I think they'll give them to the end of the season. I can't see him getting sacked this season. I think they knew they were getting a bit of a project. They bought loads of players. I don't think he's had a say in a lot of those players. I think if he loses the players, if there's talk about discontent, I know they haven't probably got the likes of a Terry and a Lampard and a Drogba, that kind of level of character in the dressing room in terms of seniority. Who was it when they had some problems? Was it with AVB when they were going to the going directly behind the manager's back? I don't know if they've got that level yet. You've got some senior pros there. You've got Sterling and Aspilicueta, etc. But Thiago Silva. But I think we'll get to the summer.
Yeah. Me too. I think he'll probably get a few games next season as well. Neil says game abandoned in the Cardiff game made it feel like it was the 90s again. Seldom you get games called off weather. Yeah, I've seen some videos of them. It must have been the Rotherham groundsman pushing the water off, but then dragging it back on.
Yeah, it was. It seemed like Villa. The worst of the rain today was at half time. So,
yeah.
The one thing I did want to mention about today, and Gaz has put a comment actually about it, but it was absolutely magic to see David Brooks come on.
Gary and Gazza. Yeah,
it was
definitely.
So good. I mean, I was straight up to to my kids were like, what's going on? I had to explain to my kids what cancer was, which is a bit of a difficult one. But
yeah.
What's wrong? Why is everyone clapping, Daddy? Wow, he was there. What was wrong with him? Oh, here we go, but rabbit hole. But that kind of diagnosis to anybody is you don't even know if they're going to survive it, let alone come back and be playing Premier League football a couple of years later. So absolutely brilliant to see. Yeah, credit to him for getting back and fair play to the lad.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And yeah, Conte is more likely to be sacked after his post-match conference. I don't know if you've heard the words that he said, and Gaza said Conte's losing it, but
What did he
yeah,
say?
he's not named any specific players, but he's basically just throwing them all under the bus,
Right.
saying that they don't like playing for the club. They've got no heart and like not a winning mentality. They haven't had it for 20 years, ever since the owner's been there for 20 years, and they've not won anything.
Oh
So
God, it's a bit of a dig at Levy, isn't it, as well?
basically just saying sack me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Give me a
yeah,
payoff. Yeah.
yeah. Rachel said, "Do we have any plans for content during the break?" Absolutely, yes. So we'll be doing the talking tactics show in the week with Gareth, and then we're planning to do a live question and answer session with Gareth as well. So if anyone has questions for him that you want him to look into, analyze, then please DM us at Villa Park Pod if there's anything that you want him to look into. But also, if on the show, just tune into the show and you can have and you can ask him questions. Obviously he won't have the data for you, but you know, if there's any specific questions that you've got for him. I know, Kev, you wanted to ask around set pieces and Aston McPhee, so yeah, we'll talk about that. I think someone wanted to ask about Emi Martinez and kind of his passing stats compared to other goalkeepers. So yeah, anything that you want to find out analysis wise, any particular players that you want him to look into that we might be able to sign in the preseason. So yeah, look out for that. But yeah, certainly quite a bit of content coming. And if there's any news that comes through, I'm sure myself or Kev will be on for the Bodymore Bulletin. So yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And if anyone's got any ideas, also or suggestions of things they'd like us to, whether like us to talk about, any shows they want us to do, or any ideas, let us know, because we're all ears basically. We really appreciate the support. So yeah, we'll definitely be bringing some stuff. The analysis one about the set piece is going to be interesting now, because it's improved, isn't it, somewhat defensively, and we've even scored from an attacking set piece today. So I'll probably have a bit less ire when
I know, yeah, he's done well. Like he coped against West Ham, he's coped against Bournemouth. So yeah, seemed to
I
be.
like to think McPhee's been on at Emery in the players game. The Villa Park pod boys are going to slate me in a imminently on a pod. Can we sort it out?
Yeah.
There was one comment actually regarding sort of analysis and tactics, but I can't remember where I saw it. It might have been in our pod chat on a tweet somewhere. But how Martinez was staying a bit deeper today, wasn't rushing out as much.
Yeah, Mark, who does our thumbnails, yeah, he'd mentioned that he didn't rush out with when Solanke went through, which was kind of interesting to see. Now, obviously, goalkeepers make their own decisions, but whether that's been sort of mentioned in coaching with him, or whether he just decided on that moment not to do it, I don't know. But yeah, it was interesting to see.
I reckon he probably got such an absolute ear bashing when he went up for the corner against Arsenal. He didn't come out of his box at all, ever.
Yeah, he did near the end though, and headed it or something. I'm sure he did. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
actually wonder what he was doing there. I was like, I think he could have stayed on his line and caught it. I think he got cocky at 2-0, didn't he? 3-0.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, yeah. Good luck to Leon Edwards tonight in the UFC. Yep. Absolutely. Villa fan as well. Yeah, so I just wanted to end though, Kev, with this lovely picture that you sent through of your two wonderful children.
Talked about the weather, didn't we?
Yeah, and talked about the weather. So yeah, great. Summing it up, mate. That absolutely sums it up, doesn't it? Great day, rainbow, kids enjoying themselves, 3 goals, a wonderful win, and yeah, great
I like
day.
to think there's going to be a pot of gold at the end of that as well for us all. So
absolutely, well, European trip, that's sending us on our journey. That's the plane. That's like the plane journey over, isn't it? To pastures new.
Yeah, it's funny actually. As I was walking out the ground, there was a guy singing. He'd definitely worse aware. Villa's going on a European tour, and then my kids were singing it on the way back to the car, and I was like, "This is come on, Villa. You've got them in the palm of your hand here. Do not let these kids down. Do not let me down. I've not had a European tour really ever with the Villa, because times in my life
never. No, I was too young and stuff, I suppose, for the other ones and that. And yeah, I think under O'Neill, I didn't. Yeah, like you say, it wasn't. Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to. I wouldn't have been able to afford it. Yeah.
So come on, Villa, do it. But it's not just my kids. It's all the other kids in Birmingham.
It's amazing. It'd be amazing, mate. Even like the Conference League would be amazing. Yeah. Rich said, "Do we follow other podcasts by other Villa content creators?" Absolutely, mate. Yeah, we love it. I love like Neil's podcast is great. The Villa View, Max's podcast. We've had Dan on like in the past when we've done podcasts. We've had Max on the podcast before. We've had Luke from UTV on before. So yeah, love them. My old man said, like, there's so many great Villa podcasts out there, and we all offer something a little bit different. And yeah, man, we love and support all of them.
Yeah, I echo that really. I mean, obviously we put a bit more time into our pod these days, but all the ones mentioned, I certainly think, I remember like I used to love the Athletic one that Greg Evans and Dan Bardell used to do. That was really insightful. Always used to give a nod to the ladies as well. But Claret Blue, the Birmingham Mail one, I don't think much of Birmingham Mail as a paper. I think it's a bit, it's adverts galore, isn't it? But you can't ever review the article. You've got to click for about X about 15 times, but they do some good stuff, some good interviews, and Dan Rollinson's good, and I think the guys on that are decent. Matt Kendrick, likes an analogy here or there.
Yeah.
And after my own heart. So yeah, it's great to have more people talking about the Villa, isn't it?
Exactly. And it's always like the comments and the viewers show when we win a game. It's just so much. So yeah, Kev, thank you so much for jumping on, mate. And it's great to talk about a win. Leave you here with Paul's comment. Next season is going to be a special season, and we're going to go finish in the top 4. So I'll leave us all with that. What a win today. It's great to be looking up the table. Thank you for all of you watching. We've got international break, but like I say, we'll be back with talking tactics in the week, Bodymore bulletins with the latest news at Villa, and special live show with Gareth. So please do look out for that. Like I say, Kev, thanks so much for jumping on. Thank you everyone for watching.
Come on the women tomorrow.
And remember, we all follow Villa.
Cheers everyone. Thanks a lot.